Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda.
Hi, and I'm Wendy.
And thanks for tuning in to Coffee Talk Moms. And today we have Andrea Watkins with the Women's Fund on our show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
So, Andrea, tell us about the Women's Fund.
So the Women's Fund is a little not known treasure in Houston. We were founded in 1979, and we are a female-focused nonprofit that goes around and educates females, whatever aspect it may be. We can teach on stress and coping. We can give you free publications. All of the stuff that we do is free to the public, but we mostly target at-risk communities. So like maybe women in shelters or underserved schools. So we try to focus and give those resiliency skills to girls and females in needs.
That's awesome.
I love that. That is beautiful work. So on that, the topic of resiliency, I think of positivity. Tell us, how do you teach women and teens the power of positivity?
Our positivity, it's an important thing to have. It's something that you can put on more and more every day, right? We don't all wake up super cheery, especially in a time like this where there's so much uncertainty. But the positive thinking is something that we have to apply to everyday life to push through. Resilience and positive thinking kind of go hand in hand, because for you to overcome something, you have to be kind to yourself, and you have to tell yourself that you have to keep going. It's gonna be okay. We could be right at the end of the tunnel and we're about to break free, but if we are negative, we might just be taking 5 steps back. So we always wanted to empower our women to say, you know what, I've been through worse, or this is just a test that I'm going through. But it's always important to have that little cheerleader in your head tell you to keep going.
Yes. Yeah. And so aside from those mental positivity practices, do you do any sort of physical exercises or anything like that?
Yeah, so sometimes when we teach physical activity as one of our sessions, we will put down the yoga mat and start doing actual exercises. We'll teach them how to do at-home workouts, like with your chair or with your desk, with your bed, because we know that not everyone is equipped with all the equipment that is needed. So we try to focus on our community that we're talking to. Maybe it's a group of women at a shelter, and we're like, the things that you have around you can help you achieve your desired, goals for physical activity.
Yeah. So it's been a really interesting time with COVID, and I'm sure you've been giving a lot of people advice on how to deal with the quarantine. What have you been telling them? And also, since it sounds like you normally go into places like shelters or schools, how have you been connecting with your teens and the women in your organization?
Yeah, so I'm so proud of our program team. We just completely pivoted and started doing everything virtual. Me and the girls don't have any IT background whatsoever, but we're like, you know what, everyone else is doing it. So we do our presentations online. They're open to the public. We do them on Wednesdays at 2 p.m., different kinds of topics. Last week, we did germs and the safety of how to handle germs. So we're working now on pre-recording things so that for the fall, since we do go into schools, maybe they don't allow us to go in, so we can at least give them a pre-recorded lecture, and then they can watch it, on their terms.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And Wendy, yes.
Yeah, I would love to share some recommendations or some tips of, ways to build resilience with women and girls overall. The first thing, as you said earlier, Andrea, is having those positive thoughts is key. And I think what helps me with that is just showing gratitude and being grateful for those big things and also those small things that happen in my life on a day-to-day basis. And embrace your failures, right? It's a process. Things are going to happen. Learn from them. That's the whole purpose of that. And then take the time to reflect on those failures, and really look at what worked and what didn't work. And don't beat yourself up about it. Embrace it and move on. The other is forgive others. That's key. Everything has a purpose. Every person has a purpose. Take ownership in that, whatever that falling out was, forgive them, forgive yourself, and don't take it personal. What I do find sometimes when there are things that's going on in my life, I look at ways that I can serve and give to others. That what that does for me is it takes the what it is that I'm dealing with off, and being able to focus on how I can serve and give to others with the gifts, resources, and the time that that I have, and allow me to think of others and what they're going on. Because yeah, my situation may be bad, but there may be someone in a worse situation as me, and there's something that I could do to help that person out, and to encourage them along the way. And then, last and final, stick to it. Don't give up. It's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard. Set your goals and pace yourself. And just assess where you are, and you just keep pushing. So, those are my 5 tips that I would say is transform your mind, embrace your failures, forgive others, serve, and stick to it. Keep pushing.
Those are great tips, because the only way through is to go through it. That's the only way to go. You can't go around it, can't go behind, just keep on persevering.
And I always like to look at resilience as a tunnel, right? There's always a beginning, and there's always, always, always an end. Mm-hmm. It's just, we don't know when it's going to come. It's just keep going and keep going and keep going. So you don't want to give up, because you don't know where you are in that tunnel. You could be right there to the end of it. And, I always say too, I don't think I mentioned that, but embrace it as you're going through, learn from it, because, it's all purpose. It's all toward the end goal for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's interesting too, how you can look back after you've overcome something, and hindsight's always 20/20, and you can
Absolutely.
see how it helped you grow and how it's helped you become the person that you are. So I think it's really important to kind of, look at some past struggles and how you got through them, and just remember that, that feeling of when you weren't sure that you were going to get through it, and then looking back, and it kind of all seems to make sense with the hindsight 20/20.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We can achieve a lot of stuff. We just got to keep going and keep giving ourselves those positive affirmations.
Andrea, I know you're not a mom, but I was wondering, do you have any advice that you would give our moms on how to stay resilient?
Absolutely. So, kids are tough, but I think kids are tough because their moms are tough. As moms, you're just like, it's okay, we're going to get through it. And I think the more that we show that example to our kids, we're in this journey together. Sometimes we feel like, oh, we're in this household together and we just want to get out. But honestly, being resilient and showing your child, like, we're going to get through this together. This is not going to be the end of the road for anything. Just keep on pushing through. And you're a one-woman show sometimes in your head. That's the only voice that you have going on in there. Make sure that you're talking to yourself positively. Like, you have to take care of yourself before you handle everything else going around. So make sure that you're kind to yourself, forgive yourself, and, tell yourself, we're going to get through this one way or another. We're going to get through it. Might not be the way that we planned it, but, we're still going through.
I love that. And how can members of the community get involved with the Women's Fund?
So as of right now, they can just join our lectures if they would like to hear something. In the past, we've done anxiety and mood disorders. We've done stress and coping. So if you want to just tune in and listen to maybe get some tools in your resource box, that would be great. But whenever we actually do go back, we have no idea when we're going to go back, but when things are a little bit more normal, we do have volunteer opportunities. You can actually come teach a class that we do. We would give you the equipment you need, we'd give you the curriculum, we'll train you, and you can go teach a girl in a local school if you would like as well. Be kind of like their mentor.
Andrea, do you have any questions for us?
Actually, what advice would you guys give to mothers to be more resilient? I would like to hear from y'all.
Amanda, she's the one that has traveled 55 countries. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yes, that was a former life. No, I was a very courageous young person. I still am. I just had such a fearless streak and desire to see the world and to see different cultures and different people. And I remember being, you know, going overseas and just being like, just so blown away by how incredible the rest of the world was and how different, yet the same that we all are. So I did a lot of backpacking, and I did a lot of travels by myself, via bus, train, overnight, you know, I mean, it was pretty amazing. But you know, that was when I was younger. And, you know, right now, just staying positive. I think, like we said earlier, and you said, you know, it's a one woman show, and I am a single mom, and I don't have family here. So it's been challenging for me. I don't have support, you know, I don't have being able to say, oh, hey, can you watch the kids for this afternoon or whatever. I don't. So just keeping the dialogue in my head positive, knowing that I'm going to get through this. Also, one thing that, you know, I saw, and I try to remind myself that these are the good days. These are the good old days, you know, that we'll be looking back on, even though, you know, sometimes can be hard and not what you imagine. These are the good old days. And I also think not comparing yourself with other people. The grass is greener where you water it, and enjoying, you know, really just, this is all a blessing. And just to remember that, even, you know, if things don't look the way you want them to at the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, and you know, the story that I would share, Andrea, is my experience with when I lost my first child to stillbirth. Kyle was 26 weeks, and, you know, a flick of a finger, just a heartbeat, no real result of why it happened. But I remember being in that moment that I just felt alone. I felt it was my fault. I felt that I did something. I was constantly replaying my efforts, replaying what happened, what did I do, what could I have done differently. That was something that really weighed heavy on me. But what I learned from that experience is that getting through life and being or wanting to be the victim doesn't get you anywhere. It just basically it what do they say? It paralyzes you and allows you to stay stuck. So I embraced it for that's part of my story. That's what God had for me. And I didn't give up. So, you know, the doctors, you know, you need to try to get pregnant again. And we did. And 3 months later, we had our daughter, Hannah. And then 2 years thereafter, we had my son, Harper. And what really made me happy, even though my kids and my moments with them, but interesting enough, both of my kids were emergency C-section. Their birthdays are on the exact same day, and they're 2 years apart. And they were born, I think, an hour apart from each other. So for me, that reminded me that God is with me, despite the fact of what I didn't understand in the beginning. But He's with me. I have 2 kids, and all of us are Pisces too, by the way. So I'm a Pisces, and both of my kids are Pisces. So it drives my husband crazy because we have to be by water, and he wants to do hiking, and we're like, no, beach. So, you know, the days, as a good friend of mine said, the days are long, but the years are short. So I try to really embrace that time with my kids, even though sometimes I get flustered. I got to keep that mindset that this is it. You know, the days are long, the years are short. Embrace them while we can. So push through. There's always a light on the other side, and a story too that you can bless another sister with, or a woman, or even anyone with.
Yeah, that was really powerful. Thank you, ladies, for sharing.
I love that. Thank you. And thanks, Andrea. Thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you and your time and the amazing work that you do for women and teens in our community. Yeah. So we'll make sure to link you in the video and in the comments. And thank you to our audience. Please make sure to follow us and subscribe to Coffee Talk Moms. And you could go to the website, coffeetalkmoms.com, for a collection of our upcoming videos and hot topics. Thank you.
Bye for now.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It's like, let me in.
Beautiful. No, I'm so inspired, Andrea. I'm like, I totally want to, I've always,
Yes.
yeah, when I was a child advocate volunteer for a while, but then I had my younger son, and so I couldn't, it was just too much. And then I was a, God, I can't even, you guys, not a mentor, a big sister when I lived in San Francisco. So I've just always been really passionate about that. So, yeah.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what schools do your kids go to?
They go to St. Catherine's Montessori.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a little Montessori school. And I like that because it's small and I'm divorced and I don't have family here. So I want them to have like the,
community.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes the places that we go to, because we usually start with 5th grade and up, because the content like sometimes is a little too mature for 4th graders, but you'd be surprised that some girls just don't get this conversations with their moms. Like they don't have a motherly figure to have deep conversations with. So with the mentorship program because we meet them once a week for 10 weeks, obviously not now, but we really become like that mentor for them. And so it's always so nice to get volunteers to come back because they were really touched by what they were teaching the girls.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you ever need any speakers, Amanda and I would love to come talk with the girls and the moms about our journey. And to follow us on Coffee Talk Mom, because we're always doing stuff that they may find useful. It's free. And it's, the resource to them as well. So yeah, if you ever need us for anything, because I'm a firm believer, I can't think of the writer that quoted and says, you build up a woman, you build up a community. Or you build a community. You build up a woman, you build a community. I believe that. We can multitask. We can iron, cook, and grocery shop at the same time.
It's our power.
Thanks to Instacart.